they would always explode around 40 minutes after the plane's wheels left the tarmac. The Lockerbie plane flew for 38 minutes. There was a break-in the early hours of that day into Heathrow Airport. And as they say in America, I rest my case.
Please don't take my sunshine away. 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 Please don't take my sunshine away.
Good evening. A Pan Am jumbo jet with 258 people on board has crashed tonight just north of the Scottish border. The aircraft disappeared from radar screens, apparently exploding in midair.
You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy with skies so gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Apparently exploding in midair.
Well, well, well. We are, well, we should be anyway, back again. And we are indeed live from the rolling hills of Murrayshire in the far, far northeast corner of bonny, 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 bonny Scotland. Where else would you rather be, right? Answers on a postcard. So let me see if I can. There we go. If you were wondering there, where is he? Is he here? He's not here. He's an AI bot. We are indeed here. And of course, yeah, that is a profile picture of me there from yesterday. Had enough, right? You know the feeling. I'm sure you do. So, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in this absolutely insane world that we live in. Holy moly. Where, where do you even begin? At the beginning. Yeah, the beginning, right? Where is that? Anybody? Anybody wanting to take a pop at that? I think it was the year 010 BCDC, or is it ACDC? It's 2000. No, it's 5,000. It's 10 million. No, it's 20 billion. Take your pick, right? Probably each and every one of them completely wrong, but there you go. What do I know? So we are indeed back again, and we will be in the main anyway, talking about Lockerbie once again. And if I remember correctly, we done a 3-part stream last year, or was it the year before? I don't know now. I don't know. I think it might have been last year. I feel like it was maybe longer, but maybe that's just me. But we did do a kind of 3-part live stream series, but we'll call it that. And we talked about quite a lot. We covered quite a fair bit. But in the kind of grand scale of it, still only a kind of drop in the ocean when it comes to Lockerbie and the whole Lockerbie scenario. I mean, there's so much to it. It's got so many arms and legs and tentacles that go far and wide, and it's very well. I mean, it's a kind of, when it comes to the powers that be, if you like, the hidden hand, those who pull the strings, you kind of see it when they carry out, let's say, a situation like this, which is what it is in my view. When it's carried out, they, let's say, leave a calling card that you can see, and you begin to see that throughout many different, let's say, episodes that are put upon us in this world. And I think in terms of Lockerbie, you see similarities with the whole 9/11 scenario, because that's another situation that is gigantic, man. It's got so many arms and legs and tentacles that go far and wide. And still to this day, it continues to be this kind of can of worms that it's never going to be closed, you know? Some people might think, well, Bin Laden, and they killed him and it's done now, but it's not done, you see, because they continue to kick the can down the road, if you like. And they'll continue to do it. Same with Lockerbie. And what are we talking? December 1988. So I would have been, what, 1 year old? So I can't remember it that well. I can't remember it. But we're talking nearly 40 years ago now. In the Lockerbie, we had the Gaddafi and the McGrahy trial, where McGrahy got tried, comically tried, and put to jail and then released. And I mean, the kind of average dude on the street would think, well, yeah, it must have been kind of like case closed and that was it. But it's not, man. Because still to this day, they continue. And I believe in America, they're pursuing a particular individual. So what they're basically doing there is they're still claiming it's a live case and it's still open, even though it's decades now. And we'll talk about that a wee bit more, because that's where That's where the freedom of information request comes in. It comes into play, and we'll talk about that maybe a wee bit more towards the end, because that won't take too long. He says, right? It won't take long. I've not said that before. So we'll cover a few bits. I want to kind of remind people about, in particular, what an individual said whose name is Kenny McCaskill, and he was the Scottish secretary at the time of the McGrahy situation. And I want to point out again, I mean, I did mention it before, but I want to show you a lot of what he said. Another individual as well, and then we'll talk about the freedom of information request. So that's the kind of plan, the layout. But hey, you know me, and it'll take maybe the best part of 2 hours at least. I know, right? Get them off. We've had enough already. Shock horror. So we are indeed back again. I think it's been 4 weeks, 5 possibly. Did anybody miss me? Probably not. Oh yeah, that guy, I forgot about him. I forgot about that mad Scottish dude. I think he might be Irish. Are you sure? I'm unsure. He's got to be from somewhere, right? Somewhere, who knows? God only knows. I don't even know. So good to see everyone in the hood. We'll quickly say hello, and then we'll, in fact, can I put that on stage just now? Let me see if I can put that there. Does anybody know who we're looking at here? Does anybody know? Of course, yeah. We'll talk about a wee bit about that and a few other bits as well, and we'll look at a few different videos and clips. But that's the plan, right? That's the plan. Who knows what can go down at That's Life, but not as we know it. Excuse me. So we are back. It's been a while. I do try and get on when I can. But currently that's quite difficult with I've got a lot on my plate scenario. Nothing bad, all good stuff, but time consuming. So what can you do, right? What can you do? But hey, there's no pressure in terms of me creating content. I do enjoy it, so I will do it when I can. But I do apologize. I can only apologize to anybody who I don't know if they might feel a wee bit let down. Oh, he's not on anymore. He's a cunt now. We hate him now. So I do apologize to anybody who's a bit like, I don't know, let down. And chances are nobody is. Nobody is anyway, so we're all good, right? But with that said, yeah, and again, I do try when I can. So what we'll do is we'll hopefully get a bit of an audio check before we carry on, right? I'm pretty sure I've done it correctly, but like I said, it's been a while. It's been a while, right? I've forgotten how to do it. Excuse me. But we are indeed back again. Raining just now. Typical, right? Only in Scotland. It'll soon be summertime. I think it's July 21st, 2:30 to 3:30. That's the Scottish summer, right? Blink and you'll miss it. So I think we're okay. We should be. It's telling me the audio's all right. So I think we're all good. I think we're all good. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. Oh, sod it in the hood. Good to see you, and I hope you're doing well. Who else did I see? What are we saying? Run to the hills. Run to the hills! Ah! As quick as you can, right? What if you already stay in the hills, though? Where do you run to then? I'm unsure. Do you run downhill or just continue to run elsewhere? I would like to. It would be great to stay out in the country, right? Away from it all. Big, gigantic wood cabin. I don't know. Maybe not that, but underground bunker. All the essentials, everything you need, right, for you and your family. How long would you last? I don't know. With my kids, it would be they would. Oh man, they would go insane without the likes of an iPad or what's the other one? A Nintendo Switch, a Nintendo Snitch, as I call it, a Nintendo Snitch or a spy pad. But there you go, right? The world that we're in. So good to see you run to the hills. I hope you're doing well. Neo in the hood as well. Good to see you. Greetings from Germany, I believe. Am I correct? Is my eyesight Germany? Germany? Germany. Yeah, Germany. We'll go with that, right? Guten Tag. Guten Tagen. Is that how you say it? We'll go with that. So I hope you're doing well. Oh, Soda as well in the hood. Lance is here in the hood. He stopped crying now. Great stuff. Amber, who claims that she missed me. I'll take your word for it, Amber. You're not a great liar, right? Right, we'll go with that. Frank in the hood. Frank, the information tank. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Is that yeah, maybe, possibly. There is a video of it. Excuse me. There is a video and he kind of shakes his hand, but he puts his other hand on it. So it was like the gayest handshake ever. I tried to imagine what they got up to in the tent round the back, right? Let's not go there. Obama and Gaddafi. I mean, what can you say about Gaddafi, right? You know, some people think that Gaddafi was a good guy. I can't see it, to be honest. I can't see that, man. I know where they're coming from. Excuse me. I do understand where they're kind of coming from with that view, but he won't be. He wasn't, man. I'm sorry, but he wasn't. Look at history. He was an agendas man, and he kind of did what he was told as well. Some people think that he stood up against the West. He stood up against them, and he wasn't part of the wider kind of global hidden hand, if you like. But I disagree, man. I mean, look at him. He's shaking hands with Obama. He's shaking hands with Obama, and then he was meeting Tony Blair. Tony, yeah, totally against the system, right? I mean, come on, man. I think people try and say, but look at Libya. It used to be great. It used to be this. And then he stood up against them and it got destroyed. And it's a bit like, well, it might have been great and it might have got destroyed, but in my personal view anyway, Gaddafi would have been the man behind it. He would have sold out the people of Libya. He would have sold them out. That's what happens to us here. It happens there. It happens fucking everywhere. We're all getting sold out, man. And again, Gaddafi, I don't know, man. There's quite a lot of conspiracy, let's say, theories in regards to Gaddafi as well. And people have talked about, and I'm sure people have mentioned it to me, Gaddafi was like I mean, if you look at him in some videos, it's like he's wearing a mask, you know? Hey, am I going to rule that out? I would not rule it out. I wouldn't. Could he just be fucking Tom Cruise in a mask It could be Tom Cruise in a mask. It could be. It fucking could be. I mean, I couldn't rule that out. I couldn't say for sure that he was, but that would be the type of, that would be the type of person, the type of position they probably would blag it and just get someone in that can play the part. I would imagine that does happen. But again, I kind of can't see it with Gaddafi, but I wouldn't rule it out. I would not rule it out. Was he a good guy? Not in my view. No way, man. No way. Nobody's a good guy that shakes hands with Barack Obama. Come on. If that doesn't tell you. And on top of that, Tony Blair, man. Tony Blair. He's Satan himself. Tony Blair. Tony Blair is the spitting image of the devil himself, man. He was shaking hands with him. You know, kind of thinking back, Gaddafi, if he wasn't a man, let's say part of the club, if he wasn't part of the club, then they certainly didn't mess about in taking him out and turning it all upside down. So if that was the case, then you could say, well, there's a prime example of what happens when someone tries to go against this so-called global elite, if you like. They fucking smoke you out, man. They'll smoke you out. They'll find a way. They'll find a way. Again, in terms of Gaddafi, I don't think there was any good in the guy. And I think he not only lied to the West, if you like, Britain, America, but he lied to his own people. Some people think he never even got killed. That I'm unsure about. That I'm unsure about, right? We'll just go with him. He did get killed. But that seems to happen quite a lot as well. I mean, again, I wouldn't rule anything out. I couldn't. But you do, especially now, the world that we're in now. Anybody that dies now, but he's not dead though. You know, it's like a million times worse than it could have ever been with Tupac and Elvis. But now, I mean, any kind of political figure or celebrity that dies, you can be guaranteed now there's going to be a million billion vloggers out there saying, well, he's not dead though. Quite incredible to think that that's the kind of world we're in now, where conspiracy, well, so-called deemed conspiracy theories or conspiracy talk is now kind of front center, mainstream, if you like. Which is interesting, right? And the amount of people, when I think back to even 2020, you know, there was a kind of increase in people making content, but now it's like a sea of, an ocean of people. Excuse me. It's like an ocean of folk now. So it's kind of, in a way, maybe even diluted down. And people might even include me in that. I might even be included in that. But you know, the one thing I've always done is enjoyed the content creation, and I've always been open and honest. I'm not I've never claimed to be a journalist. I do like investigating. I am curious. There is particular topics that I'm drawn to, so I'm going to look at it. But I've never claimed to be a journalist. Never once have I claimed. Someone's going to find a video now. Look, he said he was a journalist. It'll be Photoshop, right? It's AI, deep fake, man. Don't buy it. But I've never said that, because I know what a journalist is, and I know what a journalist should be. And there is a lot of people out there who they kind of claim to be a journalist, but they're not. In fact, there's a lot of people, and you can include everybody in the mainstream media for definite. I mean, you'll never find a fucking journalist there. That's for sure. You know, if you do get a good journalist, they probably they'll go for you. They'll take you out. That's the world that we're in. Excuse me. They don't mess about. They don't mess about. They deal in prevention more than anything. So if you're even deemed a risk, they'll probably check you out at least, then see about maybe putting an end to it. I mean, that's how they operate. That's how they operate. And it's quite funny when people talk about, I mean, again, it's only my view. Some people talk about the guy Russell Brand. Seemingly he's a comedian, Russell Brand, but seemingly he's also like fights against the powers that be, and he's fighting against big pharma, and he's got these millions of followers, and he's the man speaking the truth. Go Brand, Russell Brand, the actor, the actor. But no, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get that far. So he's not a guy you can trust. Is there anybody you can trust, man? Believe in yourself first and foremost, and lead with that. Don't be led astray, man. Don't be. Especially today, the world that we're in today. It's quite incredible, the world that we're in. Never let your guard down. Never let it down. So anybody else that is seen there? Sod it, Run to the Hills, Amber, Ulick in the Hood. Good to see you. Ulick, I hope you're doing well. Obama's telling him he's going to be impaled in the future. Yeah, possibly. Although Gaddafi looks like he could be smiling, so he might not be saying that. I think he's more likely saying, well, nice to meet you. I can't wait to see you around the back in the tent, in the wee tent. The big tent that Gaddafi seems to have lived in. But there you go, right? Good to see you, Lance. Anybody else? Guten Abend. We're talking German now. I think we probably got everyone there. Oh, Petra in the Hood as well. Good to see you. A long-term sufferer of that's life, but not as we know it. And did I miss? I think I did miss a comment at the top. We'll come back to that in a sec. Amber, Linda as well. I'm unsure if I said hello to Linda. And Blaze in the Hood. Blaze. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you back again. Yeah, if we go to, there were DIA agents on board going back to the States to let the cat out the bag about the CIA drug black ops from Lebanon. Major McGee was one of the agents. Yeah, so, and we did briefly, this is one we've not looked into it in great detail, but it would certainly be worthy of a stream in its own. So there's seemingly people on board who they were going to expose the drug running by the CIA. I can see that being true. I can't see that being true. And I mean, it is quite incredible how they work as well. When they carry out one of these operations, if you like. It's quite incredible. They gain so much from it. They capitalize on it in so many ways, man. And again, similar to 9/11 and the the destruction, the dustification of the Twin Towers. I mean, so much came from that. An incredible amount of things that echo for fucking eternity. And we do see similar with Lockerbie. So it was about drugs. The drugs were flown out of Frankfurt. Yeah, I'd imagine that would be, I mean, is that enough? Probably. Would they, again, going back to how they operate, they're good at killing more than two birds with a one stone, a lot more. So yeah, I reckon that could be one of the reasons. And yeah, I think we could do a stream on that. I think that would be a good idea. In terms of the flight log, the flight list, I think that would be a good idea. Although we probably won't get into that tonight, but we'll cover a few other bits as well. It is gigantic. There's so much that's to kind of be talked about. Yeah, it's a gigantic rabbit hole where maybe, yeah, should I go down this? Should we be going down here? Is it a good idea, right? Is it a good idea? So we covered it. I think we done 3 streams in the past. And again, when obviously I stay in Scotland, in Lockerbie, the so-called Lockerbie bombing, it is a topic of interest to me. I am drawn to it. I'm drawn to, yeah, quite a few things, Lockerbie being one of them. But I think it would have been last year, or no, the year before, possibly even the year before that. It was thanks to my good brother 9/11 revisionist. So Norman sent me a link to an interview from a guy called Dean Warwick. And in the interview, quite an explosive, extensive, incredible interview, to be honest. Excuse me. So Norman sent me that, and it was quite incredible. So the guy Dean Warwick talked about 9/11. He talked about the work he had done in the past for the Secret Service. He talked about his kind of education, his work history. And some of it I went back and looked up because I thought, I don't think he's being honest here. I need to check it out, right? So I checked it out, and a lot of it was true, and I thought, right, okay. But in that interview, he did talk about the Twin Towers being destroyed. Excuse me. He talked about the Twin Towers being destroyed simply by ultrasound. Just zoof, zapped, gone. Just annihilated, man. And that was interesting. But he also went on to talk about how the Lockerbie bombing might not be what people think. And that caught me by surprise. I did not expect it. I'd never heard of the guy. Had certainly never heard the interview before. So Dean talked about how, in his view anyway, and he was led to believe, and I think also he talked about evidence from a police officer. I mean, it was astonishing what he said. It was genuinely astonishing. But in his kind of conclusion, and from what he had heard from seemingly quite good sources from Lockerbie, the aircraft it wasn't a bomb that blew it up. It was shot down. And that's what caught my attention more than anything. Because I thought, well, I've never heard that it got shot down. Certainly heard there was a bomb on board. You know, they talk about a tape recorder. It was in the suitcase, the clothing, blah, 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 what have you. Seemingly plausible. Put a bomb on board, detonate it. Yeah, that could happen. Being shot down, could that have happened? Could that have happened and nobody's seen it getting shot down? So I can't say for sure it got shot down. I mean, we know the plane definitely came down. And it kind of blew up in the air. And we did look at we listened to witness statements, testimony previously. And some of them did say, what they described was a bit like a missile, like whee, through the sky. I don't know, like a whistle, like this noise. Whoosh, and then a poof. So could they have been describing a missile? Possibly. I mean, what I kind of struggle with there is, surely somebody, if there was a missile, would you see it? Surely somebody's seen it, right? You would imagine. But would they come forward? I don't know. Would they be believed? I'm unsure. Could no one have seen it? I don't know, man. I don't know. But when Dean Warwick said it got shot down, he not only said that, he said that it was shot down and the police on the ground actually came across the kind of cannon, military cannon gun that had shot it down, and the fucking casings were there. And it was seemingly under this kind of canvas cover. And then when they went back the next day, it was gone. And I mean, if that is true, then it would appear they did shoot it down. How true that is, I don't know. But that was Dean's claim. He did also claim, again, quite astonishingly, that when the aircraft came to, when the parts of the aircraft and the people on board actually came down and landed on the ground, some of them were still alive. But according to Dean, and it's astonishing, man, according to Dean, there was already American military or FBI, CIA on the ground on Lockerbie who were instructed, look, no one's to survive. There's not to be anybody alive that comes out. So in his, according to Dean, any survivors, and there was seemingly, they were killed by the CIA or the FBI. How true that is, I'm unsure. I mean, would you survive that? I'm unsure about that, to be honest. I mean, they did say bodies were on the ground and they weren't like they had been in an explosion or arms ripped off or anything like that, just intact, like they were sleeping. People still in their seat, lying in the back of someone's garden. And we looked at that last time. I mean, that was a bit spooky, that. In terms of it being shot down, again, that's the one that really caught my interest. That one really did. I'm unsure. I'm not going to rule it out. I can't rule it out. I kind of think there was a bomb on board. I kind of think it was put in on when it departed from England. And we know about the break-in there. Was it meant to blow up over Lockerbie? I'm unsure, man. Kind of think it wasn't meant to. Was it too early? Possibly. It should have been maybe out at sea. Maybe that was the hope. Less chance of survivors then, possibly. Would there be? I don't know. See, it's a hard one to kind of nail down, but I reckon it probably went off later than planned, or earlier. Sorry. But again, that's one we'll talk about. So we know Gaddafi, in my view, again at least, Gaddafi wasn't a man we could trust, man. I'm afraid not. Excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with my throat tonight. You can tell it's been a while, right? Yeah, I've not spoken this much since the last stream that I done. So we'll see how the voice holds up. I'm sure we'll be fine, right? It'll be Lockerbie, it's gone. The voice is gone. So good to see everyone. We'll carry on. We'll push through it. Right, nothing's gonna get in the way. Nothing's getting in the way, man. So good to see everyone. Frank in the hood. Dawn as well. Good to see you, Dawn. And I mean, yeah, when it comes to CIA and drug running, I mean, yeah, that's a big game for them. That's their kind of territory. Yeah, I've got the convid. I've got the convid, right? Oh dear. Pandemic 2.0. Here we go. Pandemic 2.0. Yeah, there's been a wee bit of talk about that. I can't see it, to be honest. I can't see it. I think they probably will do it again. I just can't see it being maybe 2030. That appears to be a favourite year for them. Maybe then. Not now. They better not. They better not fucking do it again, right? Do people think it would be... Would people listen if they done it again? I bet they would as well. What do people think about that? So we'll talk about... we'll maybe come back to that. We're going to be a bit off topic. Typical, right? So in terms of Lockerbie, I wanted to put in a freedom of information request. Now, I done one before. I think I've done two before for the first time ever. And it would be... I advise people to do it. I really do. If there's any topic out there you reckon you could possibly put in a request, get it done, man. Don't... Because let's face it, right? We can't rely on the media. We simply can't. We would be foolish to rely on the media. Excuse me. We would be. It wouldn't be a good idea. I mean, come on. It's the media. They lie. What's that other thing they do again? Oh, yeah. What is it again? Oh, yeah, they lie. And what's that other thing? Oh, yeah, lie. So if we can be the ones that kind of get to the source of the information rather than having it watered down by the fucking fake stream media, then we're better informed, let's say. So if you do feel like putting in a freedom of information request, get it done, man. Get it done. They'll need to respond. So we'll talk about I done one before for the Huntington incident, and we did get new information there. And when it comes to Lockerbie, I did look up. There has been requests put in the past, but they've all failed, man. We're talking about something that happened 40 years ago. If someone got convicted for it and released on compassionate, but still they won't push, they won't give anything whatsoever. It to be honest, it's horrendous, man, what they're doing. So we'll talk about that a wee bit more. But I want to take you to what's the new one called? Norovirus. Maybe I've got that. Coronavirus. You're getting the ooties from the Lossy Mouth Spooks. The Lossy Mouth Spooks. Nah, hey, there's no ooties here. Or is it cooties? I can't see it. I need to get glasses, right? Has anybody got any? Yeah, so good to see you, Petra. I hope you're doing well. And again, I think when it comes to Obama and agendas, man, I mean, come on. Remember the situation with Obama's birth certificate? And it was deemed to be a fake, a fraudulent, and it had about 9 red flags on it. Excuse me. It had about 9 fraudulent markers on it. So he's a fake, man. Chances are, when it comes to Gaddafi, he would be the same. He's a fake. They're all the same. None of them can be trusted. Let's be honest. And hey, put your trust in anybody you want, but you'll be let down, man. They're gonna let you down, I can guarantee it. When it comes to people like Obama, Gaddafi, fucking, I don't know, Saddam Hussein, Vladimir Putin, Tony Blair, David Cameron, Margaret Thatcher, Donald Trump. Need I go on? Need I go on? Bill Clinton. I mean, come on, right? Why do people continue to not see it, man? Do you know? Why can they not see it for what it is and kind of think, wait a minute, actually, this needs to change, and it needs to change yesterday. This needs to end, man. You know? I do think a lot of people do kind of think about, well, you know, maybe if we fought back and took it down, it would be worse than what it is now. Is that a good enough reason? I don't think it is, to be fair. That's not a good enough reason to enable it and let it continue. That's not a good enough reason, I don't think. But I think people do use that reason quite a lot. Well, it would be worse, though. And I think, and we've talked about this before, man, it probably would. It probably would get worse. We would be, I think, in order to move forward, you would be taking 2 steps back. And breaking that fucking chain, if you like. And building our own one. People ain't up for that, you know? Nah, fuck it. They've not got the time. They've not got the time. So what do you say to that? And that's a lot of people who, they know the situation that we're in. Barry Soetoro. Yeah, Barry Soetoro, right? The guy that took out Bin Laden. Remember that? Oh, that was comical, right? What a theatre that we live in, man. Honestly. Remember, bin Laden was wanted, like one of the most wanted. They couldn't find him. And then CNN found him and even got to interview him. One of the most wanted men in the world, CIA, America, Britain, MI6, you name it, looking for bin Laden. Can't find him. CNN, yep, here he is. Shock horror, right? And then, incredibly as well, we get 9/11. They blame bin Laden. He becomes the world's most wanted individual. And they can't find him. For years, man, they can't find the guy. Yet they can tell if someone in fucking Timbuktu's done a number 1 or number 2. Probably, right? With their satellite drones and interweb. But they couldn't find the guy. And then all of a sudden, yeah, we took him out. The Navy SEAL SWAT team took him out. And that's a whole other story about them as well. They took him out. And then you had people who you seemingly had people who stayed in the same compound. Well, maybe not the same compound, but the same area as bin Laden, seemingly in this compound. And they had known that bin Laden had stayed there for about 10 years. It was well known that he'd stayed there. Yet they seemingly couldn't find the guy. I mean, come on. Honest to God. I don't know how people can buy it. I really don't. Genuinely don't. So I want to show you, again, our kind of main focus will be Lockerbie. The bombing or the Lockerbie shooting, should it be? Would it be that if it got shot down by a missile? The Lockerbie shooting? Would it be called that then? We'll call it the Lockerbie bombing to save confusion, right? Because I'll confuse myself. Let me see. Why is that not working? We appear to have a... Oh, there's another image there. Yeah, 2 criminals, man. That's how I would describe them. And that would be being polite. That would be polite. Again, hey, people have got their own opinion on Gaddafi. That's fair enough. But I've looked into the guy a few times, and in my view, anyway, he is indeed 100%, or at least he was, if he is dead, at least, an agendas man who did as he was told. Similar to Obama. Similar to each and every one of these so-called politicians, political leaders, kings and queens, and God only knows what else you want to call them. They are not of the people. They're not. And I'll be getting a knock at the door now. We heard what you said. You can't have an opinion in the UK anymore. And people think we live in a free world. I mean, where did they get that impression from? Honestly, where are they living? I want to live there, right? You're free to do what you're allowed to do. I mean, it's such a tyrannical world that we're in. There is no justice in the world that we're in. There's not. Not in the systems that we're entwined in. And again, in terms of Lockerbie, you know, for 40 years now, they've continued to hide all the so-called evidence and what have you, and refused each and every time to give any of the information out. And we're talking about, I mean, the guy got trialed. The case was 40 years ago. People should and need to know what was said, what went on, what have they got. Where's the evidence? But still today, we don't get to see it. Now, if the truth about Lockerbie is indeed the truth, then surely transparency would not be an issue. It wouldn't be. How could it be? It wouldn't be. So, again, in my own view, we are not being told the truth about what happened in Lockerbie. We're being lied to. And I mean, who are they protecting? A lot of the claim is we're protecting the victims. Oh yeah, but are you though? Because I kind of think you're actually protecting, more likely protecting organizations rather than the victims. But just use the victim card, right? Oh, we can't give you anything because the victims, you know. It was 40 years ago. It was 40 years ago. Too soon? Too soon. So they're not given anything, you know? And if they do, I mean, hey, we'll talk about it a wee bit more. If they do, I mean, yeah, we might get a wee bit about the trial and how it was such a disgrace. But I can't see much coming from it. But I'll continue to try and get any information that I can get. And again, we'll talk about that a wee bit more. Let me see. We'll come back to this guy in a minute. Does anybody know what his name is? I would be very surprised if anybody got his name, to be fair. I can't even remember it. What's his name again? Tuso Wuso. Something like that, right? I think it could be Mr. Kuso. Muso Kuso. Which is probably not even his real name. I doubt anybody will know who that guy is. Never seen him before. We might come back to him. He does get a mention as well by Mr. McCaskill. So there was a lot said for. Remember, in fact, I should have a slide, but I've not got it. How did that happen? How did that happen? Let me see if I can get it quickly. No. I'm gonna have to upload it. The joys, right? Who set this up? Who set it up? We'll blame Frank, right? We'll go with that. I need to try and get the new one. So I don't know how well that's going to go down with the stream, because anytime oh fuck, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Hey, look, we'll forget it. We'll leave it for the time being.
Because you talked about the hero's deception, and we're in an age of false.
And what we'll do is we'll listen to that video in full. And I was going to show you a slide of what was deemed at the time a hero's reception in Libya for the guy Megrahi, who of course was convicted of being part of the Lockerbie bombing. I think he was convicted in 2001 and he got released in 2009. Seemingly on compassionate grounds, because he had months to live, seemingly, even though he went on to live for about 3 years, right? So that was a bit of a strange one. But when Gaddafi got released, the claim was the Scottish government said, and the FBI said, look, you're not allowed to celebrate it. You know, don't go over the top and fucking have a big celebration. But then when he did arrive in Libya, the media portrayed it like there was a big celebration and it was deemed a kind of big fuck you to Scotland and a big fuck you to the CIA in America. That's how it was portrayed by Obama, Clinton, the British media, the American media. That's how they portrayed it. But according to Kenny McCaskill, we live in the world of fakery. Of course we do. Of course we do. So this is a interview that happened in 2017. Now, this individual, Kenny McCaskill, was at the time of McGrahy's release. He was the secretary in Scotland, quite a high political position, one of the highest actually in Scotland. So what we'll do is we'll play it now. I think it's only short, but I've got about 3 or 4 different clips from Mr. McCaskill. Again, an agendas man in my own view, but he does give quite a lot away in this 2017 interview.
Because you talked about the hero's reception, and we're in an age of false facts. That was a false fact. I remember being in my flat watching it, and I too was perturbed because I thought, here comes a problem. And it was only when I started researching the book, I realised that there was no hero's reception. I had always been surprised because I'd listened to the British ambassador in Tripoli saying, no, there was no hero's reception. And what I found out from a former State Department official, and indeed confirmed by WikiLeaks, what happened was that there were 2 separate events. And Gaddafi, presumably it was Gaddafi, conjoined them through television. Because not only had we in the Scottish Government said to the Libyans, look, you've got to be respectful to the victims' families, but the State Department, through John Brennan and others, said you better be respectful to the victim's family and there better be no celebration. And what happened was that he was met by Saif Gaddafi, but the crowd scenes that we saw were in fact a separate scene, an incident that took place at Tahrir Square, the equivalent of something down at the very bottom of Manhattan, where people did not know what it was. They were celebrating something entirely different. But of course, when they were merged on TV, it made it look, and indeed Gaddafi did it himself. The only thing I have to say is, and it made me extremely cynical, David Miliband, the Foreign Secretary for Britain, knew that. President Obama knew that. Both, of course, suited their agenda to say that it was shocking and the Scots had been patsies and we had allowed this to happen. But there was no hero's reception. They agreed to a de minimis meeting. Saif Gaddafi did meet McGrahy, but the cheering scenes that you saw of crowds had no idea what they were had an idea what they were celebrating. It wasn't the release of McGrahy because they did not know it was something entirely separate. So that's the only point of clarification.
So, quite incredible as well. Because at the time when when McGrahy got released and he went back to Libya, these pictures were put on the news and broadcast across the world of McGrahy getting off the aircraft, coming down and big crowds all around him, waving their Saltire Scotland flags, you name it. And then crowds in the street. But then now, according to Kenny McCaskill, Gaddafi himself put that together. Now, that's interesting for so many things as well. For so many reasons even. Because why is Gaddafi piecing together this news footage? And why is the media then taking news footage from Gaddafi or his cronies and using it? And then you've got Obama and David Miliband, who was high up in the British government at the time, seemingly knowing fine well the video was stitched together and it was fraudulent. They knew it was a fake, but they still claimed that it was real and used it to their own advantage to suit their own agenda, saying, oh, it's terrible, it's shocking, look at what they've done. It's a disgrace what they've done. He should never have gotten out. But of course, not before, not long after McGrahy got released, he was indeed due to go back to court for an appeal. And of course, and we talked about this before, if that appeal did come through, people were going to see how fraudulent that case was and how shockingly unjustified it had been. I mean, it was horrendous, man. It was so bad. So in the appeal, stuff would have came out. And interestingly enough, before McGrahy got released on compassionate ground, he dropped his appeal. So he cancelled it completely. So there was no appealing in the future under any circumstance. It was completely squashed, completely dropped by McGrahy himself. So, I mean, there's a few things that could have happened there. But in my kind of view anyway, the government have said to McGrahy, look, we're going to let you out, but you must drop the appeal. So, I mean, he would have got out on that, but they never wanted that. Because then people were going to see how fucking criminal the whole thing was. And a lot of people would have been in a lot of fucking, should have been anyway, in a lot of trouble. Because it was criminal what they done. I mean, people shouldn't let it go. And there's another individual who was a Libyan ambassador for the UK. I think he was there 20, 30, maybe 40 years doing different jobs and connected to Libya. And he also talked about that. There's another individual who lost his own daughter in the accident, the bombing. Jim Swire. And we're going to be talking more about him in the future as well. But I just want to show you, I want you to listen to what the ambassador said. Now, I mean, this I kind of thought this as well. So I'm glad I'm not alone in thinking what I thought. So listen to what he's got to say.
So many other people did from outside. I've tried to keep up with the story and to form my own views. And hence, in this last month or so, when there's been this intense media interest arising from the question of McGrahy's potential return to Libya and so on, I've been very much involved in trying to explain my understanding of what happened, talking about those issues like, was there a deal, was it all about oil, was it all about money, and so on, which I'm very happy to pick up here if you want. I personally think, briefly, that there was a deal, but that it wasn't about oil and money. Coming to the question you asked us to address, I'm afraid I'm an agnostic. I can't go along with Jim Swire in his confidence that Libya and Abdel al-Megrahi were innocent. I simply don't know. Moreover, much as I sympathise with the wish of Dr. Swire and others to get the truth of the matter, I have no confidence that a public inquiry will get to the truth. I'm sure that they would uncover quite a lot of interesting stories about what went wrong with the trial, and probably a lot of dirty washing would be washed in public, and that may or may not be a good thing depending on your point of view. But I don't think they would get to the truth. The fact is, I don't believe anybody knows the truth except whoever did it. And my only real hope that the truth will come out is that there might one day be a deathbed confession.
And the deal you referred to is the deal that led to McGrahy's release, is it?
Yes, that's right. That's right. There's an unanswered question, which is why did McGrahy abandon his appeal?
What do you think?
I think that he was lent on in some way, but I can't be quite sure how or who by. I'm very happy to talk
Or
about
for
it
what
more.
reason?
Oh, for what reason? I think because both the British and the Scottish authorities didn't want all this dirty linen to be washed in public, and so an appeal could have been very embarrassing. And don't forget that, although I'm not a lawyer, still less a Scottish lawyer, I understand that in Scottish law, if the appeal had not been discontinued, which it was, and it's not clear why it was discontinued, it would have been open to Megrahi's heirs to continue it after his death. So there would have been a serious appeal had he not decided to withdraw it.
So, yeah, similar to what I had thought in the past, and we talked about. I mean, clearly, the Scottish government, the CIA, the FBI, the whole network did not want that appeal to go through because people would have seen it for what it is, or like the ambassador said, there would have been a lot of dirty washing put out, and everybody would have seen it. So Megrahi clearly agreed to drop the appeal, and they released him on compassionate grounds. I mean, it would appear that the guy was unwell, but they did say, well, it was like they painted a picture. Oh, he's gonna die in a matter of minutes. He's only got a week to live, so we're letting him out. And then it was 3 years later that he seemingly passed away. So I want to take you now again to another video. Yeah, this one kind of in regards to Obama as well, and Blair. So we've got one or two more.
In 2004, 3 years before I became Justice Secretary, Tony Blair embraced Gaddafi for the deal in the desert. The following day, and I put this in because people say my decision was based on oil. We got nothing out of this, and I got nothing out of this. But 3 years before I became Justice Secretary, day one, Blair embraced Gaddafi. Day two, Shell signed a deal for 550 million. Day three, MI6 rendered a Libyan dissident to the CIA who returned him to Gaddafi, and it was the start of a rendition process that was ongoing where many people were returned to be tortured and abused by Gaddafi. This idea that the Scottish government were patsies that embraced Megrahi, it was President Obama who shook his hand in the July of 2009. It was Secretary of State Clinton that the Megrahi family, and I think it was the May of 2009, to say we can do business. Gordon Brown shook his hand. So I stand by what we did in Scotland. But this bombing was a series of events. It was a personal tragedy for all the families involved, whether they were in America or whether they were in Scotland. But it straddles 45 years.
So again, that kind of gives you an idea of the individuals, the entities that were involved in, well, at least Libya, Gaddafi, the going-ons. You can include Obama, Blair, Gordon Brown, Clinton, MI6, the CIA, and of course Mossad. Also the German Secret Service as well. Funny that, right? All these different entities working pretty much as one. And like I've talked about before, when it comes to the so-called CIA, MI5, MI6, Mossad, there's no border there. There is no borders. They don't work for any nation. Forget it, man. They don't. They work for the powers that should not be. The fucking hidden hand, the one pulling the strings. It is no single nation. They will kick any so-called nation under the bus in the blink of a fucking eye. No nation, no individual, no entity, in their view, is in any way bigger than the agenda itself. Anybody is disposable. Anybody or any fucking thing. And in this particular scenario, again, like 9/11, the Lockerbie, it has got the paw prints of the hidden hand all over it. All over it. So I want to show you one is, I think it would be, yeah, it's Kenny McCaskill. And the guy, Musa Kusa. So let's hear what was said there.
McGrahy, I have met, you know, he wasn't a major player. He wasn't a nice guy, I'm not suggesting that, but he wasn't the major player. You're looking for the bad guys, you look at Gaddafi, you look at Sanusi, you look at Mossad, you look at, you know, Musa Kusa. And equally, what also has to be said is, you know, people say to me, do we know you're true? Well, you don't need to ask me. You could go and ask Musa Kusa. Now, who was Musa Kusa? Musa Kusa was the foreign minister under Gaddafi. Where is Musa Kusa? He is in a 6-star hotel in Qatar. How is he there? Because he could see the wind blowing. He went ostensibly on holiday to Tunisia. MI6 got him out and took him to London. They debriefed him, so they knew everything about Lockerbie and Gaddafi before Gaddafi fell. He was then allowed to go on his way. I don't know who's paying for him to be in Qatar. Maybe it's the Qatar government. Maybe it's money he filched from Libya because they got rich themselves. Maybe it's the CIA or MI6, but he's living the life of Riley. So when people say, McCaskill, you know, you're almost responsible for the bomb, go and speak to Musa Kusa, because he seems to be on a quite friendly relationship, because I was speaking to somebody from Human Rights Watch who referred me to information, and they have a report, I've forgotten the name, how the British ambassador in Tripoli had sent a wee note saying how unfortunate it was he wasn't going to be able to have Christmas dinner with him. So even the British government was looking forward to having dinner with the man who was in the regime that they were about to launch airstrikes on. The CIA had sent euphemistic notes about, we hope you enjoyed, can't remember, something like the oranges that we sent you, which I assume was a euphemism for some other, you know, money or goods. So, as I say, I am cynical. I'm cynical about that. You know, it was a great privilege to be the Justice Secretary for 7.5 years. I was honoured to do that. I felt, and actually investigating this, I was humbled to meet the police investigators, because there have been accusations, not just against the Scottish police, but against the FBI, and say, there was no stitch-up here. There was no planting of evidence. It was Dante's Inferno, and those police officers who went in were young boys who suffered post-traumatic stress because what they saw was truly awful. The idea that CIA were there at the time was nonsense. They came in later. FBI were very helpful. The Scottish police didn't have the resources or expertise to do it. The information and CSI stuff that came in from Quantico was vital to the evidence. So I take my hat off to all those involved in the investigation and the prosecution. They did a good job. I take my hat off to the judiciary because I think they did a decent job. Was the case against McGrahy ropey? Absolutely. It wasn't a very strong case against McGrahy.
Yeah. Again, quite interesting. The words, of course, of Kenny McCaskill. And remember, the Scottish secretary at the time of this McGrahy gate, if you like. So, neck deep in what was going on. Yeah, interesting there. He talked about the CIA and how they sent a note or an email to this particular individual, or a particular individual involved with the Lockerbie case, talking about, I hope you like the oranges we sent you. Now, why would the CIA be sending oranges to this individual, if it is indeed true? I mean, it does sound like something the CIA would do, right? Is the oranges, could that be the drugs, possibly? Maybe that would be a word to look out for in email files, possibly, that might relate to if there is a route from, or was a route from Frankfurt. Was there any oranges getting shipped or flown in around about 1986, 7, possibly? Could you hide drugs in oranges? I don't know. I mean, that would be a tough one, right? I reckon oranges or orange would have been probably a code word. It likely had nothing to do with oranges. It was probably a code word. But yeah, that's quite an interesting one. And I think there should be another clip here. Where is it? That's not it. Have I got it here, possibly? I think I might have it here. Oh, we're unsure. There's only one way to find out. I think this might be it. Is it going to work?
And managed to show that. So that was where the evidence came from. The evidence against McGrahy was pretty slim.
Yeah, this is when he talks about the evidence as well. Quite comical, right? I don't know if anybody knows much about this scenario that happened in Malta, and the shopkeeper who identified seemingly McGrahy from an image, and that was enough for them to arrest McGrahy. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but it was horrendous, man. You know, for a nation like Scotland, with the help from America and what have you, just so tyrannical the way they went about it. I mean, I expect, in the way I am now, I would expect nothing less from them. But in reality, it's fucking tyrannical, man. So tyrannical. I mean, what a world we're in. You cannot believe a fucking thing they tell you. You can't. You can't. And that's not being paranoid, that's being fucking sensible. I mean, honestly, I don't know how anybody can have any faith in any government or what have you, any institution, the police, I don't know, Secret Service. I don't know who'd be turning to them, like, but you never know. There could be people out there. I'll turn to the Secret Service. They'll help me out. Yeah, they're the type of people, if you turn to them, they would probably use you in some kind of way. And then they would fucking take you out. You would have an accident. You would be used and disposed. That's kind of how they operate. And we're seeing that even more now. And I think we talked about that with the Marconi situation. We'll probably get back into that in the near future. And we had all these scientists being mysteriously killed or suicided or just simply dying or killing themselves in dodgy, mysterious, hell of a fucked up way. And it's like, right, you can accept one or two maybe in that industry thought, you know what, I've had enough, I'm done. But you were talking about, I think it was 25 different scientists connected to Marconi. They all died mysteriously. And it's like, wait a minute, come on. Who they trying to kid, right? So they clearly took these people out, but the burn, again, similar to what we're seeing now with the scientists that have been killed and what have you. Yeah, that happens, and it's continued to happen. Maybe it peaks at particular times, it spikes maybe. But when you get all down to it, the burning question always tends to be, why are they killing them? Why are these people dying? What did they know, or what did they work on? That's the kind of way I would lean. I think they were likely working on a top secret project. And again, like they do prevention, they're not going to sit and wait until you blob and then fucking take you out. They'll just find a way to take you out, and the risk is completely eliminated. There's no risk then. I mean, why take the risk on someone talking? Dead men don't talk, of course, right? Some people with the current situation, they think, oh, it's because of aliens and fucking UFOs. They're killing all the fucking alien UFO folk. And the odd scientist in there. I see the guy, David Wilcox, as well. I think we talked about him a couple of years ago. Not many people know of the guy. Seemingly he killed himself recently. And the red flags will be going off on YouTube alarms now. Woo, woo. But seemingly he put a note saying, "Oh, look," or a video or a vlog, I don't know, saying, "Look, I'm all right. I'm not going to do anything stupid." And then he shoots himself in the head, seemingly. I mean, I did not. I remember looking into the guy quite a few years ago now, and to be honest, I don't think the guy was right. I don't know what was wrong with the guy, but I don't think he was all there. I don't know what, if it was a mental illness or what have you. I'm unsure, but I don't think he was right. I mean, he was talking, him and another guy were sitting talking about, and this is coming from me, they were talking about how the guy got picked up by aliens and fucking they flew away into another universe and they flew under the sea and they fucking met all these different races of aliens. And I'm like, whoa. And the guy that's talking about it, what was his name again? Corey something. But the guy Wilcox is sitting there going, yeah, totally agreeing to it all and saying, yeah, that must be true because the big grey aliens and this one and anal probes and what have you. And I'm thinking, hey, come on. I mean, the guy was quite good. He was quite good at the story he was telling, to the point where even I was a bit like, fucking hell, maybe this is true. But it was pure fantasy, man. Fantasy, like a story, like a fantasy story that's been made up by someone who has a severe mental disability. Well, maybe not a mental disability, a mental illness, schizophrenic illness. So I can kind of buy that he might have done that. Seemingly, the police came and he had a gun and he took himself out. But the UFO, the ufology community, no, he said he would never do it. He did not do it. Hey, maybe he didn't. But seemingly they've got video footage. Does that prove it? Probably not. Was anybody else there? I'm unsure. But this, it seems to be spiking again. A lot of scientists just kind of disappearing. So jumping back to, we got sidetracked, Lockerbie. Again, with Kenny McCaskill, Scottish secretary at the time, talking about a wee bit about the evidence. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it would be Malta, of course, the Knights of Malta. You know, in a case, pretty much the whole thing kind of began there. In the case that happened there, nobody knows anything about it. Nobody. You can't find out anything about it. But it kind of stems from there, in where seemingly someone bought clothing from a shop, and the shop owner, seemingly seen the photo in, I don't know, a newspaper, and said, "Oh, that guy was in my shop buying t-shirts the other day." It would have been some shitty, grainy photo. I mean, I don't buy that whole story. I think is fabricated. If you pardon the pun, it's fabricated. You know, they trace it all back with fabrics that they found that were in the suitcase that contained the bomb. So then they know whose suitcase it was, because this shopkeeper recognized the photograph and he phoned the police, and then he got a reward. What? He got money? Yeah, he got money. So he's basically been paid to fucking say, look, yeah, it was him. That was the guy. And that was enough for the case to proceed. Incredibly. So here we go.
Richard Horowitz, could you tell us what the evidence was that was used to convict McGrahy, and why you think the trial could have gone the other way?
Because the evidence against McGrahy was quite... there is one complete mystery. Nobody knows how the case went on at Malta. But the background to this is that the Scottish police, aided by police services from around the world, you know, Mossad was involved, the German security police, all of these people were involved. You know, they meticulously gathered up evidence, bits of clothing. The crime scene actually went for something like 700 miles. It went from the Solway Firth, that's on the edge of the Atlantic in Scotland, to northeast England, you know, on the other side of the country, because things got scattered. But they managed to work out where the seat of the bomb had been. They managed to work out the bags that had been there. They managed to work out the clothes. And they worked out that the bomb had gone on at, you know, where it had gone on at Frankfurt. And they worked out from Frankfurt, they took it back, that it had gone on at Malta, at Lucca Airport in Malta. They also worked out that the clothes that were in the case had been bought by a shop, well, they'd been manufactured at a factory, and it's down to outstanding police work and a bit of luck, but down to, you know, hard work and endeavour. So they traced all that back and managed to show that. So that was where the evidence came from. The evidence against McGrahy was pretty slim. There was a shopkeeper who said, "It looks like the guy. It looks like the guy." It never got higher than "it looks like the guy." Myself, I don't think it was McGrahy that bought it. But literally, the Libyan People's Bureau, their embassy, was something like 700 metres round the corner from this particular shop. But somebody, I believe, from Libya bought it. But it comes back to, you know, why do I believe they got it right? McGrahy was there. Those who say he had nothing to do with it have never answered, you know, why did a man fly in on a false passport that he did never use again, with apparently no clothes, to stay overnight? That's just what makes me think, I think he brought the case in. So that was the background there. So why was it a difficult case? Well, there was no clear eyewitnesses. It was a 6'1" guy in a blue suit with, you know, rimless glasses. He was looked aged 50 to 60. It was a guy that could have been 25 to 55. He looked a bit like this. And actually there then became, and what made the case difficult is it became quite clear that the shopkeeper eventually got given a reward. Now, the evidence I have, and I know defence agents as well, Scotland's a small jurisdiction, my understanding is I don't think that the shopkeeper gave the evidence did so on the basis of money. I think he got the money afterwards. But there had also been a CIA informer who had been rubbished by the judiciary in Scotland because he had been a CIA informer. Now, equally, I have to say, just because you're an informer doesn't mean everything you say isn't true. And I think some of the things he said were true, but the court said because he got money, we're going to exclude his evidence. So that made it difficult when it becomes clear that the guy who was the shopkeeper, who says, this is McGrahy, he's the man that bought it, even although it's weak. I think it would have been very difficult for a Scottish appeal, had the appeal finally gone through, not to say, well, we took this view about that guy, so we're going to have to take a logical view about this guy and exclude his evidence because there was money involved. So I think they got the right decision in the right way, but it comes back to why do I think Libya did it? And I've always said 3 reasons why Libya did it. 1, the evidence points towards it. 2, Gaddafi said Libya did it. He did an interview with the Washington Post that said, yeah, we did it. And moreover, in Scotland, it would be, something that would add to the evidence. He said, and I thought it gave great weight to it, he said, look, had we planned it, we wouldn't have done it in Malta. It was too close to us, because that's where Libyans went.
So that was a wee bit again about the appeal and the so-called evidence as well, which is quite comical, and I can see why the Scottish government, they never wanted the appeal to go forward under any circumstance whatsoever. That had to be stopped. So of course they released McGrahy on compassionate grounds because seemingly he had cancer. So that voided the appeal. And like I said, McGrahy himself declared the appeal finished, over. It was ended by McGrahy. So even McGrahy seems to be a player in this scenario. He seems to somehow have agreed to it all. That would be my view. And similar with Gaddafi as well. He seemingly claimed that it was Libya that done it. And he even handed McGrahy over to the Scottish, to Scotland. Gaddafi himself did. So he doesn't sound like, does that sound like a man who is against the Western powers? It certainly doesn't to me. That's for sure. Claire in the hood as well. Good to see you, Claire. Hope you're doing well. Back again. Anybody else that I missed? I think we're all good in the hood. There should have been another clip there. Now I'm not sure I'm going to find it. There was one more, I'm sure, on McCaskill. See if I can find it.
Major player. He wasn't a nice guy, I'm not suggesting that, but he wasn't the major player. You're looking for the bad guys. You look at Gaddafi, you look at Sanusi, you look at Mossad, you look at, Musa Kusa. And equally, what also has to be said is, people say to me, do we know you're true? Well, you don't need to ask me. You can go and ask Musa Kusa.
Ask Musa Kusa. Whoever he is. Ask that guy, right? Whoever he is. We'll try this one.
3 years before I became Justice Secretary,
Yeah, we've
Tony
seen
Blair
that one.
embraced.
Fuck, maybe I've not got it. Who done this?
That was used to convict McGrahy.
I've seen that one as well. Shit, what was the one I never played then?
False facts. That was a
Played
false
that
fact.
one.
I remember being in my...
Maybe it was that one. That one.
Under Gaddafi. Where is Musa Kusa? He is in a 6-star hotel in Qatar.
Yeah, we played that.
How is he there?
Yeah. So I think the guy Musa Kusa, I think we might look into him as well. He appears to be an interesting character. What's also quite interesting is some people claim, oh, well, Scotland, the UK done it. Some people claim, oh, well, America done it. Some people say, oh, Israel done it. Some people say, oh, Libya done it. Some people say, oh, Iran done it. And nobody's getting it though. All these fucking entities likely did play a part. But they're all working for the hidden hand. They're not working for any nation. And who gets fucked over? We do. We do. We all get turned over, man. Guaranteed. So I want to talk a wee bit, not so much about Musa Kusa. There he goes there. Sitting behind Gaddafi. Even looks like a fucking sneaky rat. He's got rat all over him. He's got rat all over his head. I mean, you can see it, right? Or maybe I'm looking into that picture too much, but you can even sense it from that. I did see as well in regards to the guy Musa Kusa. Seemingly his education, he went to university in Michigan. So he was educated in America. Now, kind of maybe going out on a limb, but I would imagine Mr. Musa Kusa is, or was anyway, a double agent. Claiming to be an agent for Libya, but in fact working for the American side of the entity. Because why is he getting so much looked after now? I mean, I think the claim is that he did eventually in 2011, I think, come to the UK and denounce Libya. And it's like, right, so now you're being looked after by the UK and you weren't, what we're meant to believe, that you were not working for the Western powers that be previous to that. I mean, come on. He was a double agent, man. He's got it all over his fucking face. Chevy Chase, you can see it. You can see it. So I think that could be. And this was a guy, he was real close to Gaddafi. I mean, would I rule out Gaddafi himself being what you could probably call a double agent? I would not rule that out. Is Gaddafi himself a Western creation? Probably. I would not rule that out anyway. I couldn't. So I did what I wanted to talk about a wee bit as well. So it would have been maybe last week. Last year as well. Was it last year? Maybe it was this year. I put in a freedom of information request to what police department? It was the police. I'm unsure what department now, but it was in relation to the Huntington stabbing on the train. Remember? And it got me kind of thinking that, yeah, I need to put in more requests. I think we should do it more. I highly advise people do it. It's not hard to do. So get it done, right? I'm sure there's a situation that you can try and get more information from. So there's been a few that I've kind of thought, right, I'm going to put one in about that and see what I can get. And Lockerbie is one of them. So when I looked at previous, because a lot of them, well, I think all of them that are put in, they're noted. So you're kind of put on a blacklist. You're put on a blacklist, like, right, watch this one. So you're kind of going out on a limb, right? You are going out on a limb. So I looked at the previous requests submitted to Scottish Police and the Scottish Government in regards to Lockerbie. And a lot of them had been put in looking for some of the evidence, some of the witness statements, I believe, potentially sensitive information. And they had all been refused straight up. Nope, can't do it, not getting anything. Forget it. So I thought, well, if I put in a request similar to that, they're going to say, well, you can't get it. So I thought, I want to put one in, but it needs to be different from the previous requests. Just simply to try and get anything that we can get from them. See if they'll give us anything whatsoever, right? Because they appear to be, for decades now, refusing point blank to give any information away whatsoever. Decades, man. And the people have a right to fucking know. The people should be demanding to know. Because clearly there's one gigantic cover-up going on here. Gigantic. And that's putting a missile, a bomb, putting all that to one side. From the incident after, one big gigantic cover-up. Shock horror. And they will not give any, not even a sentence away. 40 years later. Incredible, man. So, what I decided to do, I thought, right, I'll be a bit kind of specific. Excuse me. I'll try and be specific in terms of what I'm asking for and making sure it's not sensitive, graphic, or, breaching the kind of data protection, if you like. So not any names or statements, nothing like that. So you're talking kind of indexes, a list, a catalogue that lists evidence that's contained, statements that's contained. Not the names, not the statements themselves, but information and material that they should, in reality, be able to give me. They should. So, pretty much the index, not the evidence, a map of, at least a map, if you like, of what existed in terms of the evidence, the catalogues, the statements, right? Not the files themselves, which previously they've already refused to give away. I don't think they'll ever give them away, to be honest. So I was specific in what I'm asking for. File lists, schedules, indexes, catalogue references, document titles, which teams, archives, or bodies hold material, no witness statements, no forensic files, no victim data, because all that had been refused in the past. So we're trying to worm ways into it, like picking away at a barrel of whiskey with a tiny wee penknife, just gnawing away at it. If you can picture that, that's what we're trying to do. Can we? I mean, they're clearly not giving anything away, but how much can we actually squeeze from them? And because even a small amount of information from them, it could be enough to back up some of the theories that are going about. So I was quite specific in what I wanted. I had a feeling we were maybe going to get it, at least a kind of redacted version of it. But we never even got that. we never even got that far. They confirmed, they did reply. I got a reply, and they confirmed the information requested is held, but I wasn't getting it. So they did tell me, yeah, we do have that information. It is available. It is held by Police Scotland, but you can't get it. So we know it's there. We know it's hidden. They refused on quite a few different grounds. Section 34, I carried on, investigations. Section 35, law enforcement. Section 39, health and safety, distress. And the reason given was that it is seemingly still an ongoing inquiry. It's seemingly still an ongoing inquiry, and seemingly they're pursuing an individual in America who, I believe, if I remember correctly, is in court this year. So, I mean, if it's done and dusted this year and the guy's convicted or not, will it be over then? Will it still be deemed an ongoing investigation? Probably. But I mean, here we are, McGrahy trialed, released, dead, years, decades later, and they won't even give an index about what they've got. You know what? What are they? Honestly, what are they hiding? What are they trying to hide? Again, the claim is, oh, we're protecting the victims. No, they're not. They're protecting the organisations that failed the people of Scotland and the people of America as well. Failed, man. That's what we've been. And again, I don't think it was meant to blow up over Scotland. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. But I do kind of think it was maybe meant to be at sea. But yeah, maybe they did want it to happen over Scotland. Certainly made it a much bigger situation. I think it's still today the biggest so-called terrorist attack in the UK. Even after all them train incidents that we had. I mean, some of them, man. Fucking hell. Wow. Oh my God. I remember one or two that we might look into in the future. I think it might have been about 20. Oh, I'm unsure of the year. But it involved a train. And I mean, fucking hell. Oh my God. But it's one of them where if I do talk about it and give my opinion on it, probably see the channel get deleted. It's a kind of Sandy Hook scenario. The alarms will be going off right now. Right? He's talking about Sandy Hook. Get him off, right? Next, he'll be talking about the Holocaust. Let's not go there. So, yeah, I got refused, man. In the end, I've been refused. And they've said, look, yeah, we do think it's important, but no, we can't give yet. Section this, section that, section this, ongoing investigation. Yes, there's a public interest, but we don't want to give yet. Better luck next time. Not happening, right? So what you do is you get a chance to submit an appeal. So I done that. I submitted an appeal. Basically challenging the refusal. So refusing sensitive evidence is one thing. Refusing a redacted file map is another. Police Scotland must justify why partial disclosure is impossible. So kind of I'm putting it to them. Do you know, they're saying, look, we're not giving you anything. And I'm saying, well, but you fucking should though. I'm not asking for sensitive information, sensitive data, graphic information, information that would jeopardize any ongoing case. But no, nope, not even that. Not a thing, man. So yeah, I'm definitely the appeal's put in. It goes to an internal review. And then they've got to come up with another answer. And I think if that falls through, there's one more appeal process to go through, which kind of goes to the very top. If it does come to that, that might be quite interesting. That might raise a few eyebrows, and it might get some attention. People might think, well, wait a minute, what's the big secret here? It was 40 years ago. McGrahy was in court. He was out. He was dead. Decades, man. And still, we're hiding. I mean, the people, if anything, the victims and the families, they deserve a lot better. They deserve so much more for what happened there. I mean, it was devastating what happened. You know, and you look at the images of that part of this aircraft that landed in the ground and caused a big gigantic canyon of a crater. That was simply part of an aircraft, remember? And then if you look at the Shanksville incident on 9/11, where they claim a whole aircraft hit the ground, and it's like not even 10% of the size of the crater. What is interesting as well on that is if you do look at the big crater, the Lockerbie crater, and you compare it to the Shanksville crater, it's like a mini version of it. It's like they looked at Lockerbie and thought, right, it needs to be a bit like that. The only thing is, it was nowhere anywhere near the size it should be. It was nowhere near it. It was not even like a car had hit the ground, man. But it was honestly they've tried. It's like they've tried to copy it, which is quite. I mean, in my view, an aircraft never hit the ground that day in Shanksville. Not a chance, man. Not a chance. You know. That's the one where they claimed the passengers took it down, just nosedive right into the ground, fighting in the cockpit and just fucking. And seemingly the claim is it went into the ground like butter, like a knife through, like a knife through butter. And it was quite funny as well. I mean, it's comical because they claimed one of the terrorists on that flight had a red bandana and they found it in the wreckage. Oh, fuck. A bandana worn by one of the terrorists. I mean, how did they know that? Well, they must have seen it on CCTV. He's got a bandana. Of course, he's a terrorist. They wear bandanas. Duh. But it survived this knife through butter scenario. Just, oh, bandana. Oh, passport. So if you're going to make a house or build a house even, build it from bandanas and passports and you'll be okay. It'll be indestructible. Forget nuclear bombs. Nothing's going to destroy it. Bandanas, red bandanas, and terrorist fake passports as well. Oh man, quite comical. But there you go. So I've put in a review. What the review should answer: can redacted file titles be released? Can broad categories of records be listed? Can a non-sensitive schedule be provided? I mean, we're asking for very little here. Very fucking little. Next to nothing, man. But they won't, even that they won't give away. So it tells me if in any time in the future someone does get their hands on these files, then I think we're going to be, well, I mean, hey, we're not going to get answers. We're only going to be left with a lot more questions, I'm afraid. There might be an odd answer in there. It'll probably just give us more theories, to be honest. There's a lot to be said for it. So I think it was either 20 days or 30 days to reply. So I'll keep an eye on it and I'll try and keep you updated. What I did do is I put one into Police Scotland, which is where I got the reply here. But I did also put one into the Scottish Government as well. And I'm still waiting on reply from them. I think I'll kind of get the same reply. And I think they'll say, well, the material it does exist and it's in the hands of Police Scotland. So you'll need to ask them. But of course, I've already asked them. And of course, the answer is no. Computer says no, right? Shock horror. So I think overall, when it comes to Lockerbie, it was a well-planned operation. It was carried out by the powers that be, and they roped in all their departments, if you like. The Israelis, the Germans, the Americano, fucking the Italian, the British, you name it. Anyone that's part of the club, they got roped in. Iran, Gaddafi, they all had a part to play, man. Paid, probably. That's usually how it goes down. These people get paid money. We get fucking sold out. No matter what so-called nation that you're in, you're being fucked over, man. You're being heavy fucked over. And like they said in They Live back in the 1980s, there are no nations anymore. They're running the whole show. Don't you realize it? You don't get it. There are no nations anymore. I mean, they told us, man. John Carpenter told you. And nobody believes it, though. Nobody sees it. But similar to They Live, once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's no going back. There's no going back. I'll be back. Do you know when Arnold Schwarzenegger said, I'll be back? It was actually meant to be, I'll be right back. But he couldn't say that for some reason. He was struggling to say it and it kept coming out weird. So the best, they said, right, just say, I'll be back. And he was able to say that. So yeah, one of the better Arnie movies, Terminator. Arnie's always good when he's not got many lines. So if he's got nothing to say, it's fine, right? Yeah. I think we might have talked about it before, the conspiracy theory about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lord Lucan and his wife. If you've not heard about that, you might want to look it up. You might want to look it up. Arnie, of course, an agenda's man. Anyone in Hollywood, man, well, the majority of Hollywood are paid and bought for. Any politician, paid and bought for. Any so-called celebrity that's so-called, let's say, big, paid and bought for. 100%. Is there good people out there? Of course there is, man. You're not going to see them in the House of Commons. You're not going to see them on fucking the cinema. They'll be doing good things, not useless things, let's say that. So, we'll call it a night there. We went a wee bit longer. I did say 2 hours, and we are 2 hours 3 minutes. So we're not too bad, right? We're not too bad. Again, there's so much to get into. But for the time being, we're going to go down the route of information request. So we're going to kind of focus on that and see what we can get from that. I mean, am I expecting to get anything? Probably not. But you never know, right? You never know. I think it's a wise thing. Like I said before, I think it's a good idea to not rely on the media. Let's do the legwork. Let's do it off our own back. Fuck the media. We can't trust them anymore. If you want to know, go to the source, get the information for yourself. Don't rely on anyone. You know, there's so much out there now. So much out there. So we'll get back into it. What was the other stream I was going to do? I can't remember now. There was an Armites stream, and I think possibly 9/11. But for the time being, the Lockerbie situation is probably going to take up most of my, let's say, content time. So I'll let you know. I'll come on when I can. If I get any word back, I'll let you know. If I put in the other request that I'm going to put in, I'll let you know about that. I'm not going to say much about that currently. I'll save that for another day. But I will be putting in more. And like I said, I highly advise people do it. You know, cut out the middleman. Oh, there's Steve in the hood. Good to see you, Steve. I hope you're doing well. A great guy, well switched on. We had Steve on before. I think it would be good to get Steve on again in the near future. Great guy, knows his stuff, man. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to describe them. Prostitutes. The prostitutes. They can, no offense to any prostitutes that are listening. Because that's kind of, I mean, even a prostitute's got more dignity than a fucking so-called journalist in the mainstream media. That's how bad it is, man. Hey, I'm not saying every prostitute out there is not dignified. Although, hey, what would I know, right? What would I know? So I've heard, right? So I've heard. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Some interesting bits of information there from the guy Kenny McCaskill. If you want to check out that full kind of interview, you will find it on YouTube. It's about an hour and 7 minutes long. But it's interesting, man. You know, and Kenny's sitting there talking about, well, MI5, CIA, fucking MI5, MI6, MI3, MI2, Mossad, Israel, the German intelligence, this intelligence, that intelligence, all, each and every one of them playing a part. Yeah, and, but he doesn't go any further than that. But the matter of the fact is, they're all playing their part because they're all fucking connected. They are as one. Or if you like, they become one. They're all connected. They don't work for any single nation. That's not how it goes down, man. You know, nations only exist in the mind of the sheeple. That's where they exist. A creation, if you like. I mean, what's not a fucking creation in this world that we're in? Fuck me, even time itself is a creation. And of course we are. Although, hey, we won't get into that. Not tonight. So great to see everyone. Oh, cheers, Frank. Yeah, I'm going to keep digging. I'm going to see what I can get. You know, I was kind of, I can't drop this hunch. Well, it's not a hunch, this kind of nagging that not only are we being lied to, but like Dean Warwick said, we're being lied to about how the aircraft actually came down. And I kind of want to find out myself for definite, if possible, whether or not it did get shot down or it indeed blew up in the air. Is there more witnesses out there who claim to have heard what could possibly be deemed as a missile? I mean, we did cover, there was one or two, and they did kind of say, look, it was a whistling through the sky like a shh, and then a poof. And I think the kind of claim is, yeah, but it blew up and then other parts blew up, or it blew up and then it hit the ground. So it could have been something falling and hitting the ground. But there was quite a few interviews of eyewitnesses where it did raise an eyebrow. So I've kind of, since I heard that, I've been kind of trying to prove or disprove this theory in regards to a missile. So that's kind of took up the most of it. On top of that, putting in the freedom of information requests. In terms of the flight, I think that is a gigantic topic in itself. The people on it, most definitely. I think that needs to be looked at. But for the time being, we're going to concentrate on getting what we can from in particular, the Scottish Police. Are we going to get anywhere? I don't know, man. I honestly do not know. We'll see. Hey, you know what they say? Only time will tell. Only time will tell, right? So yeah, they're withholding every single piece of information that they've got. And they're deeming it, well, the investigation's ongoing. Even though it was 40 years ago. Even though Gaddafi went to prison and got released and what have you. And yet here we are today. Shock horror. So good to see you, Steve. I hope you're doing well. I always enjoy your take, and hopefully we can catch up. Retro as well, much appreciated. Thank you for your engagement and good to see you. Frank, likewise, good to see you, and thank you kindly for the continued emails and engagement and support. Great to see everyone. That then exploded on the plane. Yeah, the briefcase. Yeah, we talked about that one as well. You know, they talked about this tape player that was a detonator for a bomb. It was like a tape recorder. You know, the old 80s tape recorders that you got in school. Probably still got them in my school, my old school. But yeah, they went with that. I think they said the group that made them made 5 of these devices, and one of them went missing. And they couldn't find it, and they reckoned it was used in the bombing of the flight, Pan Am flight. Yeah, hey, I guess they could make them a bomb disguised in a fucking tape player in a suitcase. I mean, seemingly Mossad had beepers that were blowing up. Although that's not 80s, I guess. I don't know. I feel the tape player bomb one's still kind of weak. I think it's a bit weak. It is plausibly the most likely currently, but I feel it's weak. And I've got a funny feeling the more I might look into that, the more I might see that it's not really plausible. And I mean, if you want to take a plane down, yeah, the best way is to probably fucking shoot it down. But I don't know. I can't say, I wouldn't say for sure either way. You know, even the mainstream seems really big on this. Oh, it was a bomb in the suitcase scenario. So are we to believe them? I don't know, man. You know? Be careful. Be careful with who you believe, remember? So good to see everyone. Lance, Frank, crazy lady Jane in the hood as well. Good to see you. Not heard from you in a while. Although to be fair, I've not been on much, so I do apologise. Jane might have missed me, right? I'm sure Jane did. Cheers, Jane. Don't just agree, right? Just agree. Yeah, hope you're well. Been listening in before I crash out. Oh, okay. So you've used me to get to sleep. Is that what I do now? That's my job now. I'm just here to be like people's lullaby. Is that what they call them? Lullabies? Lullabies? Yeah, I'm just here to put people to sleep. Not in a bad way, though. Not in a bad way. Not like a vet. In a good way. Fuck me, if you fell asleep listening to me, there'd be some weird dreams going on there. Let's not go there, right? Oh, Frank Barron as well. And Frank the Tank. So we've got 2 Franks in the hood. Or is it just Frank Barron? I'm unsure. Oh, yeah, we've got 2 Franks in the hood. Not to be frank, of course, right? Not to be frank. Do we know where that phrase originated? Not to be frank. There's a bit of homework for you. There's a bit of homework. Been busy with my tribunal case. Oh, we won't ask, right? We won't ask. Jane's been doing a bit of drug running for the CIA. It's all coming out now. It's all coming out. Crazy lady Jane. L Jane. L crazy Jane. I'm only joking, Jane. Busy with my tribe. Does that say tribunal? Case. Chill voice. A lovely chill voice. Hey, I'll take that as a compliment. I'm taking it as a compliment, right? It's better than being. I don't know. Some people, it depends. I'm a bit like Marmite. Oh, it's too shouty. Seemingly, I shout a lot. Seemingly, I swear a lot. Seemingly, I'm Irish. Seemingly, I'm not Scottish. Seemingly, I'm AI. But there you go, right? Each to their own. Let's go with that. But yeah, I hope you maybe you can come on in the future and tell us about your case, because I know you go on different shows and what have you. So yeah, possibly. Hey, maybe. Although I don't know what it's about. It's going to be some sexual assault now. Here's Jane to tell us about her latest sexual assault case. Maybe we might give that one a miss, right? I know it won't be that, but it's good to see you. And good to see everyone. A hypnotist. That would look at my eyes, not round the eyes, look at my eyes, you're under. The guy from Little Britain. So yeah, good to see everyone. I'm trying to think when I'm possibly back. I'll try and get on midweek. Like I said, I am working on, in particular, one project. That yeah, it's quite an interesting project. A lot of potential in it. So it's taken up a lot of my time. I'm going to go ahead, move forward with it. So it's taken up a lot. It is taking up a lot of kind of free time that I did once have. In the past, I was kind of blessed as well. You know, your 2022, 23, 24 in particular, I was at college and I had loads of time. So, and even going back 2020, 2021, although I wasn't at college then, we were heavy in the pandemic theatre and work was kind of here and there, and I had a lot more time. So up until about 2025, I had loads of time for content creation, which was great. Going into full-time work and taking on different projects was it kind of diminished the time I did have for content creation, any time that I did have. So that's just the way of it, I guess. I do try and get on, and for no more than the enjoyment of it. I mean, I still like researching. I still like covering certain topics. I still like coming on and trying to engage with the people that do turn up. You know, so there is still that. in the near future, it could be less time that I've got. There could be more. There's no knowing. There's no knowing what the future holds from here on in. But I'll continue to move forward. I mean, yeah, you've got to put yourself and your family at the forefront. Nothing's more important than number one, your well-being, your health and your well-being, and number two, the people that you love and you care for. That's got to be the priority for everyone, you know? And none of us are perfect. We can all do better. We can all do better. Just me, right? Probably just me. We can all speak for yourself, right? Fucking do better. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good week. We're looking at possibly Wednesday. I'll try and get on, and we'll take it from there. So get out there, enjoy yourself, do what you need to do. Don't let anybody get in your way. Nobody. No fear. Not even a tiny speck of fear. Get out there, keep moving, heads up, keep going forward. Fucking no looking back, man. No looking back. And like I always say, no matter what, no matter where, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3.